Hello and welcome to the Argyle CFO Leadership Forum, Lessons Learned in 2024. My name is Vicki Lynn Brunskill with Argyle. It's great to have everyone joining us today. I have some important information to share with you, and then we'll turn the floor over to our esteemed opening keynote speaker. First, we'd like to take a moment to thank today's sponsors, SAP and Lease Accelerator. Our sponsors are committed to providing you with valuable content and a great overall experience today. At any time during the event, you can visit their virtual booths from the main agenda page, and those do include complimentary materials, information, and meet and greet opportunities. Also, throughout today's event, you have the opportunity to be entered into a raffle, and the more actions you take, the more points you earn towards that raffle, and the top 10 point earners will be entered into a random drawing to win one of three fabulous prizes. So please do check out the prizes and raffle rules tab on the left-hand navigation bar. We also welcome you to stay socially connected during today's event. For those of you who are active tweeters, please use the hashtag Argyle Digital and follow us on Twitter at Argyle Exec Forum. Also, be sure to follow Argyle on LinkedIn for special announcements. And most importantly, today we want to hear from you. So during each session, we encourage you to submit your questions and comments in the Q&A box on your screen. And following each presentation, we've set aside time for our speakers to weigh in on those questions. Thank you again for joining us today. Now let's get started. Without further ado, I'd love to introduce Elizabeth Sanlate, former International Tax Director, Mexico, Central America, and the Caribbean at ADM. We are so excited to have Elizabeth for her opening keynote presentation titled The Agile and Resilient CFO. Welcome, Elizabeth, and over to you.
Thank you, Vicki. Good morning, everyone. We are here today to talk about the Agile and Resilient CFO. Think about challenges that have reshaped your role as financial leaders on the past decade. Imagine yourself being a CFO in March 2020. Plans set for the year became obsolete overnight as the pandemic interrupted industries worldwide. CFOs were called to lead unprecedented transformation. Thank you. Again, my name is Elizabeth Sanate. It's a pleasure to be with you today. Let's understand why the traditional CFO is different to the modern CFO and why the role of the CFO is evolving today. The traditional CFO was focused in closing the books on time, while the modern CFO has a broader vision. It is, like, for example, a guiding a global merger with real-time financial insights. This is today's CFO with strategic thinking. When we compare the old roles, the role of the old CFO and the new CFO, we see that the traditional CFO focused primarily in financial reporting, compliance, cost control, while the modern CFO has strategic planning, digital innovation, ESG leadership. And we can see on the screen the differences between the traditional and the modern CFO. This is what we are going to learn today, how to become the modern CFO that shapes the future. What are the forces driving this evolution? Digital transformation. Today, we live in a digital world. Rise of big data, analytics, AI. We cannot forget about any of that. Now, this makes our job as CFOs much easier. We cannot forget either about the global disruptions. We all face COVID-19 and the consequences. We today see a geopolitical risk, such as wars or things like that, and climate change. Stakeholder expectations have changed, and they are totally different from a decade ago. Now, the CFO of today needs to have some attributes, needs to be strategic visionary, data-driven decision maker, technology advocate, champion of resilience, leader in ESG initiatives, and a collaborative communicator. Without communication, without initiatives, or without resilience, there is no space in today's world for the CFO. The CFO's role in shaping the future has to be focused on, as we said before, on environmental, social, and governance for compliance and sustainability reporting. We make emphasis on digital transformation because this provides the CFO with real information to make founded decisions. Technological proficiency, we using the tools that we have today, like big data analytics, AI, is important, but also important is emotional intelligence. What is emotional intelligence? We need to be self-aware. We have to have what they call self-awareness. This is to influence in emotions, and not only ours, but also others. We have to be emotional intelligent in order to foster collaboration with our teams. Also, the CFO has to assess risk with a great expertise. Data storytelling. Numbers by itself don't tell anything. You have to go behind the numbers, what story they bring to you and to your stakeholders. Everybody remembers a story, but a few remember numbers. So if you focus your reporting, if you attach it to a story, for sure your message will get to the point. And also important is process optimization. The CFO has to focus how processes are being made, not only in finance department, but across the organization. So leadership in a new era is the role that a CFO has to present. As we said before, with emotional intelligence, building and leading adaptive teams, you have to focus on a team that knows the tools necessary to make it successful. You have to have visionary thinking and problem solving. Networking across industries for best practices. Don't think that you know everything. You have to network outside your organization to understand how others are doing things, and you will learn a lot from it. We have to make emphasis in technology. The modern CFO without technology can't do the work as it is supposed to be. So when you are shaping your new attributes, your new skills, please base the technology as one of your primary tools. What sets an agile and resilient CFOs apart? When you're looking to differentiate from a traditional CFO, this is what you have to keep in mind. Driving business transformation and innovation, building agile financial systems and processes, aligning financial goals with a strategy, and balancing profitability and social responsibility. This is key to be a modern CFO. Now let's think about going back to the pandemic, to the COVID-19 era. How did Airbnbs survive that process when all the travel, international travel was disrupted? So the CFO has to focus on the goal that was maximizing profits and keeping the financial health of the company. They have to shift from international travel to local domestic travel. And here we can see that he rapidly cut costs, renegotiated debt, and shifted focus to domestic travel. The outcome of this Agile initiative successfully weathered the crisis and adapted the business model. So, what is the takeaway of this? Being agile doesn't mean abandoning goals, but quickly adapting strategies to new realities. We also have Procter & Gamble's resilience, not only during the pandemic times, but across time. I mean, the Procter & Gamble's is a big company that has diversified suppliers and a strong digital sales channel. During the pandemic times, they increased the production of cleaning products and all that, and mitigated the supply chain disruptions effectively. So resilience stems from foresight and a commitment to innovation. Look new ways to do things, innovate. That's what keeps business alive today. So what is the paper or the role of the ESG, environmental, social, and governance in the CFO role? It is important because we all have, everything has to be not only within our organization, but how we affect our planet, how we affect our society, and we have to be in compliance to keep our goals on ESG. So a CFO has to be resilient by building financial buffers and ensuring liquidity. During uncertain times, we have to secure the financial health of the company or the organization by managing the crisis and mitigating risk. We have to foster sustainability and long-term growth. We cannot think about midterms, we have to think ahead. And we have to address our regulatory and compliance challenges as well, because an organization that is resilient needs to work with compliance and needs to abide these challenges. So we mentioned that Airbnb as CFO practice some cutting cost strategies. So how can you do that? How do we implement all what we have discussed here today? So when cutting costs, you have to adapt some smart principles. For example, you have to prioritize value. What is important for your organization? Focus on activities directly tied to the revenue generation or strategic goals. What drives the revenue in your organization? It is where you have to prioritize. Do not cut costs in the sales force. Do not cut costs in the production force. You have to focus on those that are not so primary to your organization. Operational efficiency. Optimize processes through automation and lean practices. We have to find ways to get better results with less error, with less time consuming. So this is what is efficiency operational about. Negotiation leverage. Renegotiate vendor contracts and explore shared services models. So we have to optimize our finance costs. We have to optimize also our overhead costs. How can I do more with less? Key actions. Conduct zero-based budgeting. This will help you identify what activities are really important to your business to keep what drives your revenue. Freeze discretionary spending temporarily, like travel or advertising are not expenses that drives revenue immediately. So you could evaluate how you could cut costs on those spending. Implement spend analytics to track and optimize expenditures too. Build resilience. You may ask yourself, okay, you're asking me to be a resilient and agile CFO, but how do I become resilient? You have to diversify your revenue streams. It's like they say, do not put your eggs in one basket, all your eggs in one basket, because when you diversify your revenue streams, you diversify your risk. Maintain healthy liquidity and access to credit. Stress test financial models against multiple scenarios. When you do your budgeting and when you do your financial forecasting, you have to consider different criteria or what could affect your plans. You have to do two or two different models of forecasting. Operational resilience. Develop contingency plans for critical operations. Strengthen supply chain visibility and flexibility. Cultural resilience. Foster an innovation mindset. Work with your team. You have to develop a growth mindset within your team, and also an owner mindset. If you make your team feel like they own your business, then you have a win for sure, because they will take care of your business as you do. Empower cross-functional teams for rapid decision making. If we go back a few slides, we remember that the traditional CFO focused only on their finance department. But today's CFOs needs to go across the organization and probably across the industry. So we can make cross-functional teams. We need to work with operations, with commercial, with tax, with not only finance. Agility in action. So as we saw resilience, we can see how we could put agility into action. Dynamic forecasting, decentralized decision, technology enablement, and scenario planning. We have a case study example here. For example, a global manufacturing company facing raw material shortage and rising costs. This happened to many companies during the pandemic time. So they reallocated resources toward high demand product lines, leveraged hedging strategies to mitigate price volatility, and they implemented real-time KPI dashboards to monitor performance. So the outcomes reduced costs by 15% while maintaining market share, strengthened financial position to capitalize on new opportunities. This is a good example how agility and how resilience were implemented to take the business out of trouble. So I will leave the session today with a call to action. Volatility and uncertainty demand bold, informed leadership. As CFOs, we can drive resilience, adaptability, and innovation, not just for survival, but for growth. So take note of the next steps that we have here. And also, I would like to share with you a toolkit for the agility and resilience. I really appreciate your time today, and I hope you enjoyed the session. We can go, I see that we have some, I don't know if you have some questions. I can see that one is coming. Thoughts on the changing role of the CFOs as AI develops. We do not we cannot see the AI as something that threatens our positions. We have to see AI as a tool that can leverage the power that is in the CFO. Use AI for your financial analysis. Use AI for acquiring new knowledge. But don't think AI can do your work, because AI cannot be resilient. AI cannot solve problems. You know your business better than AI. Question 2, what are the biggest roadblocks to improving your team's agility and responsiveness? Well, the biggest roadblocks that we can see is that our team is not prepared. So you have to develop your team. You have to provide the right tools to your team by training them, giving them the opportunity to develop themselves. How can technology be leveraged to not only survive disruption, but also thrive in a volatile environment? Well, you can use data to make predictions. You don't use historical data anymore to make your predictions. You can use blockchains, you can use data mining and data analysis to predict what could happen in the future, and then you shape your strategy from there. What are the most critical metrics for measuring financial agility and resilience? Well, that's a good question. You could use ROI, you could use EVA, EBITDA, for example. There are many other metrics in finance that you could use, but those are the main ones. I think EVA is the one that gives you the most valuable information of your business. How can finance leaders best demonstrate the value of agility and resilience to the broader organization? I think finance leaders demonstrate value of agility when they are open to communicate. And remember that the best part of communication is an active listening. You have to listen the needs of your organization, of your teams. So I think that will open an agility and resilience broader to the team when they felt that they are counting, when they feel important in the organization. So I hope I have answered most of the questions, many questions today. If there is no more questions, I can come back to Vicky. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. What a wonderful presentation. I want to thank everyone else for joining us today for this session. This session, along with all of today's content, will be available on demand following the event. Our next session will begin at 11:35 a.m. Eastern Time, and that will be a panel discussion titled Finance Transformation for Success. Please do click the join button that will appear on your screen to be redirected to that session, and we look forward to seeing you there. Thank you again, Elizabeth.
Thank you.